Hello again, Robert Crossell back for another video on FPTS. We're going over the option type and looking at the do notation. You'll see here that it says on the FPTS official site, both Haskell and PureScript language provide syntactic sugar for working with monads in the form of do notation. FPTS provides its own implementation of do notation, which can help to simplify effectful code. Now, I haven't used the scary word monad yet or told you that that's what we've been working with, but that's what we've been working with, and I'm going to do a later video covering some of the functional buzzwords such as pure function and monad, but you can use these things without knowing what they are, and most of the definitions you'll find online aren't very good for showing you what they do anyways, so you're probably better off just following my videos and seeing them in action so you know how to use them. So let's get into looking at the do notation. So let's take a look at the do keyword here. We're in the option type file, and you can see we have here the do keyword that they're exporting on the option type. So it's O.Do. And you can see it's just a shortcut for an option that is of type empty object, which, hey sweet, you'll understand why later. So if you wanted to, you don't have to use do, you could just stick this in there. But it's a nice shortcut because it's a lot smaller. The first thing we'll be using other than that will be this bind keyword. Best way to learn about bind is probably to use it. So I've already got the stuff we need imported. I'm going to make a couple of helper functions. I'm going to make a doubler that takes an in, that's a number, and doubles it. I'm going to make a tripler that takes a number, triples it, and we'll make a power of 3 that takes a number and raises it to the power of 3. So then we're going to make a variable to hold a result. We're going to call our pipe. And normally we would start a pipe out with like some value, and then you would turn it into your option or whatever. And if you look here, this returns an option of empty object. But as I said a minute ago, O.Do is exactly the same. If you look here, it returns an option of empty object. So then we're going to start binding things to that empty object. So we're going to call O.Bind, and the first parameter we're going to give it is a key, and we're going to call this one original. The second parameter we're going to give is a function, and this function can take the object from the line preceding it, and it passes it in as the first argument, and then it should return an option with whatever new stuff you're going to bind to it. So in this case, you're going to bind the original. So we don't have anything on that object yet, so we can just do that, meaning we don't really care what's on it because it's empty, and we're just going to make option of 2. So now if you look at result, it holds an option with an object of type object with an original value that holds a number. From there, we're going to add another one. We're going to call this doubled, and we're going to actually take in an argument. We'll just call it A for simplicity, and we're going to do O.sum of doubler of A.original. You can see original is on this. It passes it in, and we can use it here. And you can, even better, destructure it right here, so you don't have to use the A dot if you're not using everything. So now if we look, we have an option of type object with 2 fields, original and doubled, both numbers. And we will just keep going from there. Next we will do O.Bind. We will call this one tripled. And we'll do the same thing. We want the original value, and we are going to take that original value, and we're going to call tripler on it, and then we're going to call an O.Bind, and we're going to call this one power 3, power of 3, and we are also going to pass in the original, and we are going to do O.sum of POW3 original. And then from there, we ought to be able to console.log json.stringify the result and see that we have original is 2. If 2 doubled is 4. 2 tripled is 6. And 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So there we go. We have a real easy example here. Just a small little note. Since we know this is just a shortcut, you don't need it to use bind. And we could take this out, and I could stick O.of2 right here to start this thing out. And then I could do O.bindTo original. And I could take this out totally. And this should still be exactly the same. And if you look over here, it is. Let's do one more little example to get it in your head. This one's going to be kind of goofy, but it'll kind of show you more of the basics. So we're going to grab a result. We're going to pipe, and we're going to do O.do. And then we will console.log the result. We'll json.stringify it for now, because it will be in an object. And right now it's you can see it's empty. And so first thing we'll do is we'll call O.bind. We'll call the first part of this little rhyme the intro. We don't care about the argument. And we have to have an option, and it's going to be of string. And we're going to say Lizzie Borden took an axe. Then we're going to say the next part, we'll call it Father Whacks, or Mother Whacks. Sorry, it's Mother first. And we again don't care about anything that's being passed in. So we'll say O.of 40. And then we'll say Mother message. And that's we're gonna take in the Mother wax, and we're gonna say O.of and gave. Let me close all this stuff so you can see. Gave her mother wax. What have I done wrong here? It is crying. Oh, no comma for one. There we go, that fixes it. And then we're going to say middle message. And we don't care what the thing is here. And we're going to say when she saw what she had done. And again, that's got to be an option. And then we're going to call this one Father Wax. And we're going to take in the Mother Wax. And we're going to say O.of Mother Wax plus 1. And then O.bind Father message. And in here we want to take in the Father Wax. And we will say she gave, we don't want to use that kind of string, we want to use template. She gave her father wax. And that wants to be in an option. You can use whatever constructor you like. And from there, we're going to map it together. And we're going to take in the parts we need. We need the intro, the mother message, the middle message, the father message. And then in here we're going to say return, and we're going to do a string. We're going to do the intro, and then there's going to be, well, we need to put it in the template, and there's going to be a comma. And then we're going to do the mother message, And after the mother message is a semicolon. And then we are going to take the middle message, which is followed by a comma. And then we're going to take the father message and have it be with an exclamation point. We don't really need any of this or the return. And then last we're going to do O, get, or else. And we're just going to return an empty string if it's not there, but it should be there. And we can take out the json.stringify now. And I'll save it. And if you look, we get a little rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Now, you might notice on a lot of these, we don't use the variable. There's another little function you can use that's apS. I'm not sure what the S stands for. They actually have a listing of what all of the letters at the end of their functions mean, like K and W, like widen, what we looked at before. And when you use these, you don't have to provide a function. You just provide an option like this. So I could actually, for all the ones where I don't use the variables, I could just use this. And it should end up being exactly the same. And if I look over here, let me save it again, and I still get the exact same message. So I thank you for joining me as always. That is my first video on do notation. For the next video, I plan on making a couple of little programs using the stuff we've learned to this point. We'll look at a FizzBuzz implementation using functional, and we'll look at a birthday greeter version function with do notation. And we'll add some little array helper functions that are in FPTS as well, so you get some new functions. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.